to my poetic muse. Here you are again, oh muse. Thought I had done with you. Thought I could paint myself the color normal. Yet there you stand in rainbow shadows, luring me back to a world where I know nothing, yet speak with fire and ink. It didn't work last time, you know. You called, I refused. You dictated, I tried to write my only words. Every staircase I walked up, you tripped me down. I should have burned all those notebooks where you drew my fingers to the phrases. But those pages contain the best I've ever done. Some thanks to you would be gracious, I guess. Oh, muse, the color of dawn. You'll find I've trained my mind this time. I've learned a little craft. I have prepared myself for this moment of death when you return to use me up, pigment smeared across some canvas of your design. So, muse, when do we begin?
Praise be the hood. Be streets lined with trash instead of gold discarded cigarette butts. Be a trail that lead to the only place I have ever known as home. Home is a place that looks a lot like a disappearing act. Corner stores becoming CrossFit gyms where the only thing that is exercised is privilege, and privilege is the way they call my project's ghetto, then build luxury apartments on the same block. The way they make affordable housing just another nightmare told by the survivors of this kind of conquest, and conquest is another word for theft. The kind that takes lives instead of taking possessions. Possession is the acquisition of things not yours, and these streets don't belong to you. Here, gentrification is the monster in everyone's closet. It's the way a family of 5 is pushed out of a 1-bedroom apartment into them. Home is just a memory. And ain't memories just things waiting to be forgotten? I think of my life in 2 parts, the before and the after. The before is the time when my neighborhood looked like me, full of brown faces playing in the moonlight, but they call gentrification the sunrise. The after is the time spent in this new light, the time where they name those of us who are born in the dark as monster, and monster is a name exclusive to people who look just like me. People of the before white folks tried to tame the nigger, before the nigger accepted domestication. Domestication is the process of making something worthy of a home, and they say we too black to be worthy of shit, that they can't make space for a hood nigga, so praise be the hood niggas in the way we take this space. The kind that has always been ours but never really put into our names, and names are the only thing we have ever been allowed to own. So when I rename this city mine, I won't wait for anyone to tell me otherwise. Besides, white folks never stopped colonizing. They just renamed the invasion too. Called the white man evolution, but forgot that we are creation. Creation is the process of giving something life, and ain't we the soul of this country? We, the hood niggas, the base of what was, is, and whatever will be considered culture. Culture is just another black thing valuable enough for a white man to steal. Black is just another stolen thing brought across oceans and then left here without a home, and sometimes home looks like a ship stuck on the horizon. But we can't fight hard enough against the waves to ever make it on board, but sometimes home is the blackest of hallelujahs. A hymn that can only fall from the darkest of lips. But it is a prayer that we send up to a white God who doesn't listen unless he hears a white man's amen.
Dear black woman with a stained glass skin and a backbone made of marble, I marvel at the strength in your stance. You are a legend amongst common folk, a time capsule buried in its prime, a gorgeous Renaissance sculpture wrapped in brown skin and labeled Black woman. As if it were a sin, but you are not a sin. You still put the angel in Michelangelo. Your body was crafted with a masterpiece in mind. I am in awe of your beauty, blind to your flaws. Please tell us your story simply because it's worth listening to. Miss Black woman with the stained glass skin and the backbone made of marble. Let's pretend that your tears are a much needed thunderstorm in the midst of a dry spell and not a sign of weakness. Imagine your weeping is a wishing well full of quarters that grant second chances. Convince me your hope hasn't become a subway. Prove it doesn't only exist in the tunnels of your soul. You should never allow anyone to silence you or duct tape the mouth of your past, especially when your bloodstream is the megaphone for hope's protest. So speak to us in every language the tongue has knowledge of, until conditional fear becomes unconditional love, until shame apologizes for ever showing up, until pride latches on to your broken wings and apologizes for not coming sooner. Miss Black woman, you are still a Black queen, still the center of our community and the best cook I know. In any kitchen I've seen, your hair still feels like home to my fingertips. You are still all that and a bag of chips with a soda on the side, still my motivation, still my dream work theory. Please tell us the testimony behind your stained glass skin and your backbone made of marble. Tell us the testimony. Miss Black woman, you are strong. You stand tall and elegant every single day. You are golden. No one can tell me differently. You always have been. You always will be. Sincerely, Jasmine Waiters.
My beard,
Yep.
right? My beard is hairy.
Yeah.
My beard is thick in all of the right places. My beard is a grizzly bear, consumed by a black forest of redwood. My beard is yet to offer itself as lumber. My beard is every beard in 300 Spartan. Each hair an extended foot aimed at the chest of anybody questioning its color, all while shouting, "This isn't Rogaine!" My beard gets asked, "Do you want to go camping, or hunting, or hiking, or start a fire, or start a fight, or take this shot with me? Do you want to get sloppy drunk and forget her name, and his name, definitely his name, and your name too?" My beard is a cover for masculinity while it allows everybody to still assume it of me. My beard is becoming. A choir all whistling Dixie to the same old tune of each generation, teaching its sons how to be like their father. A hymn I'm still learning to live in, clasped hands dug under my chin, praying to the God I see in men to let me see a God in myself. All I've ever wanted this beard to be is resilience when I'm cut down and struggling, to unbox the binary into the spectrum, a guard against those who feel the need to redefine my version of masculinity, as if any action could lift this shroud and reveal somebody other than male. Like all the way my gender-labeled products and daintily in the shower, right? The coconut oil next to the pink silky smooth head and shoulders across, and the apricot exfoliator in front of the red spice body gel. Y'all know like the one with like the two wolves in front of it, right? Post-shower cucumber peel, sandalwood beard oil. The best that I feel as a man is when my eyebrows are plucked and shaped, because serving face is the cleanest revolt. But I spent most of my youth comprised of convincing the boys in my biology. Convincing them that I am not hiding behind what they see, when what they see is not who I am, and who I am just wants to be seen, just wants to be accepted. The way I had seen my peers bully the queer men I secretly admired. Do you know what it's like to watch your own closeting? To see all the courage sink back into yourself is the most boyish thing that has become of me. A desire to grow but never change my desire to speak. Instead, listen to the voices heckling from behind a mirror that this swallowed face is not as masculine as it should be. Knowing how effeminate queer men who are literally men threaten everything inside the cis hetero masculine bubble. Y'all, most days masculinity just feels like I'm falling. Whole way down, wondering if I could be male and not broken. If this vulnerable ego could learn to live without the mask and allow myself the birthright of acting as feminine or queer as I want to be and calling that manhood. Wanting to believe how I can be wanting to believe how my beard is more about how I choose to be the person under it, but about how all of it is mine.
I don't remember what it's like not to fear the ocean.
When I was 12, I spent the whole summer swimming. Until my friend told me about the jellyfish corpses washing ashore, and I refused to be in any water I couldn't see the bottom of since.
In childhood, I didn't know why full submersion gave me panic attacks, cowering from swells trying to pin me down, unwilling to be swallowed alive again.
Unwilling to let anything grasp a piece of me. I have been stuck in enough riptides to know escape isn't as easy as it sounds. Felt her hands reaching for the liquid in me.
The sea, like my memory, conceals his rocks until they skin me, only to mock my wounds. In nightmares, high tide leaves bruises and invisible ink. They say I imagine them. Nobody smells him. I mean, the seaweed cutting off my voice.
Sometimes I wake up 60 degrees shivering and swear I can still taste the salt and feel kelp curling up my legs.
Still fighting to the surface
against the greedy current.
These bodies of water have always feared the Pacific.
Flinched away
from undertows
that do not ask before taking.
Growing up on the seaside, I've drunk enough salt
to be another country disappearing beneath melting ice caps.
The water in my veins floods
to claim more of us.
To swallow every continent alive.
But we've learned from the ice left in our blood
to fear the tsunami that only hits once in a lifetime.
That stranger danger
is all we have to worry about.
The first girl who took all of me without my consent lived 10 houses away.
The boy who drowned me and swore he was teaching me to swim was already inside the house.
Vigilant for weather alerts.
But not the undertow right down the street that's been pulling little girls under the surface for years.
When I was young, my mom told me if I ever saw waves too large to run for high ground. And I am still running.
I've always imagined the ways I could die by waves. I am an excellent swimmer, but in this ocean I'll always sink.
I was 19 when I realized my experience was childhood sexual abuse.
I was 23 before I was willing to call childhood games rape.
I have found a name for my trauma.
And I am done drowning.
I'll wait out the pressure in my lungs,
dive deeper,
learn how the touch of water can heal me.
How the abyss can hold me.
Because the seabed is worth seeing.
Remembering
can heal us.
We've learned to navigate the currents and call it home.
Trauma tried to be the anchor pinning us down, but it forgot who the real sea goddesses are.
We will drive to the tallest cliff we can find.
And jump!
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I am Frankenstein's monster. Haphazardly made from broken pieces of people, pieced together by teardrops and discarded items, jimmying into place by nimble fingers, using heartstrings to somehow stitch together a hole from the holes they found these random parts buried in. This skin stretched beyond recognition to fit this frame that is too big, too prominent to be seen as anything other than a mistake, to be viewed as nothing more than ill pieces of flesh wrapped up in ill-fitting skin, exercised until it's aerobically exercised into a being of a more manageable size. I feel invisible. But when I step into places, eyes see me and they scream monster. They follow everywhere I go, align their steps alongside mine so every misstep they can misalign the monster. Their masters arm themselves with pitchforks of gentrification. They queue in red and prison pipes, form outside monster schools where they can point and jeer and capture any who manage to steer themselves from between the lines. The villagers callously watch us limp through life. Know that their inattention may be partly responsible for my scars, so they ignore the stitches. They hold up their sense of perfection against distended flesh and ask, why don't you meet this description? They have deadened their ears to my pain. So when I utter anguish, of hurt. When I beg to be heard, all they hear are the guttural exhales and incomprehensible babbles of monster. And when they can no longer ignore the sound, they cry out, "Why does your voice always have to sound so black?" Or like inequality, or rape, or like you're barely holding on. Can't you make it funny? Can't you make us laugh? Can't you see yourself as being anything other than monster, even if all we see you as is monster? Why can't you ignore those scars as easily as we do? They see these waves of energy being released and think that anything with this much power has to be angry, has to come from the monster that was created when all it is a person. Wanting to be seen as a person and loved as a person and not your monster. Wanting desperately to tell the story about how someone who was thrown out like trash collected themselves, was put back together by the many pieces of their broken hearts, shattered years, and forgotten promises, was ignited by electricity, brought to life, and learned to look themselves in the mirror again and see beauty, even if all you can see is beast.